Alright, it's time to pick the onions again. And these are those Alyssa Craig onions that I plant. Luckily my surgery was delayed or put off till later this week because I had a bad cold. And I get to do this instead of having my wife do it. And you can see there's one of the big boys here. I just can't believe just how good these do. Now, when you pick them, you'll see there's big, there's little. They're all different sizes. So I don't actually know what causes that. They're all in the same compost. And, you know, it must just be some seeds are better than others. But these were actually old seeds. They were from 2 years ago. I reused them, and you can see just amazing. Ever since I started growing these Alyssa Craig onions, had really good onions and really good luck with them. Just a couple seeds, a little compost, and you know, you can see what you get. And these are just shoved about 4 or 5 inches apart in this raised bed. So you know, you can see it's time to pick them. The stems have started bending over and, you know, drying out, so I want to get them out. And we got supposedly a bad storm coming today with hail and rain and everything else and high winds, so figured I'd try to sneak this in before it got here. And just show you, you know, same thing every year with these onions, just amazing. But this year I actually had a new record one. I'll show you that at the end. So, like I said, luckily, you know, if I had the surgery, I wouldn't have been able to bend over or pick up anything. So, this is going to work out good having it delayed a couple weeks. Yeah, I'm starting to feel better now, too. So, you can see, filled up a couple baskets in that half bushel basket. Now I'm, you know, searching for other things to put them in. They're just so big and so many of them. This bed was a little bit bigger than what I had planted last year, so you know, I'm getting a good harvest. So there they are, all cleaned out. And now let's take a walk around the rest of the garden. There's the zucchini plants. Can't wait for them to die a little more. Had so many zucchinis. I pulled out most of the patty pan squash plants. Squash bugs started getting in them. Some more cucumbers there. They're starting to get hit by the cucumber beetles, but I don't care. I've had enough. And the tomatoes are really just starting to ripen and come in now and stuff. So we've been enjoying, you know, a handful at a time here and there. You see they're doing good. And that dill there was a little bit late. Luckily we had some other dill that came up. More cucumbers back there, Swiss chard, some basil in there, and the cilantro is all going to seed now. So I'll let that go to seed and save some. Okay, beans. We've got about 40 pounds of beans in the freezer now, and this is that second bed there. You can see there's one more picking on it. Probably do that tomorrow. But we've really enjoyed a lot of beans and have a lot in the freezer this year. Here's where the other bed of beans was there. I yanked them out. And here's where the onions came out, but there still are some little red onions. You can see they didn't do that good. And where I pulled out the first beans, I did put in some more turnips and beets for the fall. So I've been, you know, getting the fall plantings done now too. Over here, we got some cucumbers. I pulled out all the gherkins. They kind of got hit by the beetles, and we, you know, still have some eating ones. These scarlet runner beans are just amazing. I mean, you can see the bushes here from just a couple of seeds I put in there. And they're just loaded with big pods of peas, and I'm going to let their beans, and I'm just going to let them, you know, dry for dried beans. So that's going to be a good harvest when it happens. Just totally loaded, you can see. And then there's some peppers, some Anaheims, and these are some of the bells. Out front there's a jalapeno. 2 jalapenos, and they're loaded now too, so time to start eating them. And habanada finally came to life on me. So here's some beets. The greens are all shot now, but I never really thinned them enough. But still, there's just a ton of softball-sized beets in there, and they're really good and sweet. So we enjoy them. Let's go walk down the middle. Here's the eggplants. You can see the plants are totally messed up by the flea beetles. We have the freezer full of frozen eggplant now, though. I probably picked about 25-30 eggplants off here, and they're all breaded up and frozen. And the plants haven't died yet, so it looks like there'll be one more batch. But you can see the damage that those flea beetles have done. And I did try some dust on them and, neem oil and everything else. Nothing works against them. Ajavarski peppers, they're starting to, fill out. And there's a lot of red ones mixed in there too. So we bought a bunch of sausages, and we've got the sausage and peppers and onions we'll be doing on the grill this week. And over here I pulled out all the hardneck garlic. That's down in the root cellar now. All, hardened up. That's really good stuff too. And some red cayenne there that are growing. And marigolds in the back. And everything's kind of been blown over. We had some high winds a couple days ago that really did some damage. And these tomatoes here are looking terrible. We've been eating these a couple weeks now, and you can see there's a bunch there, but the plants about had it. So I'll just pick them and enjoy them. The Black Panther edamame still don't have any beans on them yet, but they'll be next. Amish paste tomatoes. The plant's been loaded. We've been picking some of them every day. My wife made up some couple batches of sauce with them and stuff, and boy, they're nice. And then there's a small plum tomato starting to come in now. And here's some of those big, I forget what they are, but they're German slicing tomato, and they're really good for sandwiches. They grow big enough that you just need one slice on the sandwich. Really nice flavor too. There's one to be ready tomorrow. And all the beds I pulled out the potatoes and garlic and stuff from. They're all replanted. There's some more shallots. I had a couple more of last year's shallots left. I decided to try some fall shallots, and there's some fall potatoes and radishes and kale and lettuce in there and a couple other things all mixed in. So, hopefully the fall crops will do good too. And these are those other tomato plants. They're about 8 feet tall now, pretty massive, and some good big eating tomatoes. All right, let's look outside here. Remember, there were just a couple little pumpkin plants in there, and that was all mulch. Well, now those pumpkins have taken over. You can see the size of the stem on that thing is the size of my wrist. I've never seen stems that big, but we have pumpkins, it looks like, this year. I don't know how many, because you can't get in there, and actually it's good. It keeps the deer out of everything else. And you can see my sunflower batch in the middle there started growing. Pumpkins all over. These vines just keep getting longer and growing more. And again, there's butternut squash back there, and there's also spaghetti squash too. And I did pull out those strawberry plants. And my favorite plants are, all going into bloom, and the bees are having fun. These guys over here, they were all straight standing up. A lot of them got damaged. We had high winds, and they're about 12 feet tall now. So, they took a beating the other day. More peppers and bell peppers, and here's some, let's see, I forget which ones those are. They're a pimiento type pepper. More zucchinis that I'm probably going to be ripping the plants out soon. And the okra's starting to get a couple little okras. So they should be about another week or so. They're starting to get a lot of flowers on them. And that's pretty much, looking around there. Now let's just look at those 5-gallon buckets I put the flowers from that Thomas Jefferson collection in. And you can see they're all doing pretty good, and the bees actually are loving them. Don't see many butterflies on them, but I do see when the sun's out, they're just loaded with bees. And that's my favorite right there. I just love that color. So they all started growing, and they're mixed up in the buckets there, and it's one of the old marigolds. Always need a couple marigolds in the garden. So let's just walk up the outside here and peek in there. You see I don't know how many pumpkins are in there, but I know there's going to be at least 6 of them. I'm guessing more. Poor elderberries, that wind the other day really knocked down some branches and stuff. You can see they're starting to mature now. They're like about 16-inch diameter, those batches of them. And they probably weigh 1 to 2 pounds each. It's just unbelievable how many are on there. There's thousands of them on the plants. And little wind just kind of knocked everything over. But looks like they'll make it. Some gourds up here keeping the deer out of my pear trees. And they're just some strange ones. I saved seeds from one I bought in a store a couple of years ago. And you can kind of see there's probably a couple hundred of them in there if you look around. Okay, we got those gourds, and these pretty much are, a spreading type. And then I've got these other ones. I bought a weird one in the store last year, and I saved the seeds, and they're all up here where those white flags are. You can see the wind starting to pick up now. We're in for some good storms. But these are weird. You've got like 6 arms sticking out of them. That one was a mutant for some reason, but I'll try to find one here that you can see. But they're just buried in there. They're just quite a few of them in there. They're really hard to see with the camera, but there you can see they've got like 6 arms sticking out. And the one I bought was a different color, so I'm guessing these might have mixed with the pumpkins or something. And you can see I'm getting a lot of those weeds killed off, and the asparagus plants are still alive. I can't believe it. I've been very careful, just spraying the weeds and taking care of them. Grapes starting to turn. Kind of weird how they're all different colors, though. They're not turning at the same time this year. So that's kind of weird. And then these are the later, bigger Concord grapes in here, and they're just, if you dig through there's a lot of clusters of them. So looks like we should have some grapes if the animals don't decide to eat them the night they're ready. Then I got to show you my one apple tree. This is a Fuji tree. And all the other trees got hit by that hard freeze that we had, so there's basically no apples on them. This one, the blossoms didn't open up until just about 2 days after the hard frost or freeze that we had. And it looks like there must have been enough pollen left in the dead ones that got hit by the frost to pollinate this tree good. But I've never seen this many apples on this tree. It's just unbelievable. All the rest of them you can see don't have anything on them. But this one with the Fuji's is loaded down. So that's going to be fun, having some apples to play with. Maybe make some cider or something like that. So, there they are, all the onions. Filled up the whole back of my wife's golf cart. Gizmo's still down at the dealer. They're still trying to figure out what's wrong with it. So I got to take these up and spread them out on the porch. In the meantime, one last look at my favorite flowers, sunflowers, and these do attract thousands of bees. It's just fun to sit there and watch them. And too bad a lot of them got blown over, because that was just a mess of them. And you can see the clouds are starting to move in, the wind's starting to pick up, and it's like we're going to get what everybody else is getting. Alright, so I saved that one big one out. Last year I was just under 2 pounds with the biggest one after trimming, and this one right now is, I got some of those parts holding it up. Let's see if we can get them up out from prying it up. Okay, 2 pounds, 4.8 ounces, so 2 1/3 pounds, and once I trim it, I think it'll still be over 2 pounds. So it looks like I finally did get the 2 pound onion I've been, fighting for the last couple of years. And I just wanted to show you where everything, sits now, and, how good these onions actually do every year. Just a little bit of compost, a little bit of water, and some sunshine. And there's my favorite view of the garden. Just amazing how pretty those flowers are when they're blowing in the wind. So in the end, it looks like I'll have at least 75 pounds of onions, if not more, once they're all, dried up and trimmed up and stuff. Really a great year for onions, and these Alyssa Craigs are just so great. They're great eating, and they store for a long time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.